Being 6:30 and 30 seconds, I'll call to order this meeting of the Manchester by the Sea Conservation Commission for December 2nd, 2025. Under the auspices of the Wetlands Protection Act of the state and the local general wetland bylaw. And our mission here is to protect the wetlands and to serve our neighbors, some of whom are here tonight. Right? So a couple of ground rules. Since this is a virtual meeting, entirely virtual under the continuing rules and regs, we will be recording. So if you care to turn on your camera, your image will be right along with your voice. There will be periods of the meeting where the comment is appropriate. I'll tell you when that is, and please indicate if you have something to say or a question to ask by raising your hand on Zoom or literally, physically. I recognize you. Identify yourself, please, by name and address and affiliation, and try to keep your comment questions short because we have a busy agenda. What else? We will conduct our vote by roll call tonight and have a chat option, but I'd ask you please to reserve it only for technical questions. It's a part of the record, so putting an actual substantive question or comment in there, we will lose it. I think that's all the preliminaries. So let me call the roll of commissioners and staff. Right. Let's see, Vice Chair, Dr. Henry Ottinger.
Here.
Dr. Olga Hayes.
Here.
Dr. Gordon Turner.
Here.
Mr. David Lumsden.
Here.
And I am Steve Yang. So we have a quorum of 5 of us. We are missing members, Dr. Jeff Butler Turner, Bill, and Mr. Jim Hoffman, who is someplace warmer and nicer than the rest of us tonight. And our staff here tonight is Conservation Administrator, some other folks from town here like Nate DeRosers and some other commissions and boards. Helping Matthew Lassiter to take note of the meeting. That should be instructive for somebody. All right. Any other announcements before we get going? Then we'll begin with opening the public hearing for notices of intent. The first ones are continued meetings, the first one being 44 Norwood Avenue, SDEP 39-7, map 50, lot 21. Nicholas Aviation Foundation additions of the single-family home within boarding land subject to flood and the 200-foot riverfront area. Still have for another continuance. So I will move that we continue this matter to the next meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? David?
Aye.
Gordon?
Aye.
Henry?
Aye.
Olga?
Aye.
Aye as well. Unanimous. The second continued notice is for 48 Norwood Avenue, DP number 39-939. The applicant is James Gaddis. Owners are Metropolis. This is proposed removal of an existing garage, conversion to an ADU, which most of which will happen together. Area.
Steve, 1 second. Your voice is breaking up. Is there any way you can get a little closer to the microphone?
Yeah. Thank you, David.
You can put on the headphone, right? Well, I'm finding it difficult, so I'm pushing hard here to be heard and not sneeze.
Just like a connectivity issue, maybe.
Yeah, it almost sounds like wireless to me.
Well. Is that any better?
A little
Not
bit.
yet. I
Hmm.
wonder, Steve, if you were to try putting your camera off, maybe that would help.
That would certainly preserve bandwidth. And you don't need to see my facial expressions. Any better?
It seems like
It might be, yeah.
Okay, I'll just keep talking, and if this gets really bad, I'll pass the microphone over to the vice chair, Henry.
Steve,
Ottinger.
even though our agenda has the Gaddis case continued, I see both Jim and Matrano here.
It says continued as it was continued from
Yes.
the last meeting.
From the previous meeting, so I think we're taking it up tonight.
Perfect.
So, would you like to unmute Mr. Gaddis and bring us up to date? But you need to unmute that famous little button. There you go.
Hi guys, how are you? So
We're
the
good.
changes that's happened with this application or this case this month is we are no longer seeking the zoning board's approval for an ADU. I just wanted to make sure that we all know that this is now going to be considered a accessory building, which falls under we under the 5-foot rule. Apparently, we've been told, which we are meeting all the zoning requirements. So in order to move this along for the Matranos, what we're going to do is, remove the kitchen items that make it an actual ADU, make it an accessory building. We don't have to go through zoning because we meet the setbacks, and all we need apparently is your consent from conservation to approve the project. Does that make sense?
It makes sense to me. Any questions or comments from the commission?
No.
And I know most of you were on a site visit when I was out of town 10 days ago. Any questions from that?
Are
No.
there
Okay.
any changes to the footprint of the building or?
No, Gordon, there's not. That's the main reason that it is not going to be classified as an ADU, because we needed to keep it the same.
I'm sorry, the same as
What
it
you
currently
see-
is?
Yes, the footprint stays the same.
I think the zoning
So-
people were worried about its overall square footage, took it outside the limit for that zoning district.
Right, okay.
If it was an
So
ADU, but if
so
it's
there's
an
a
accessory
significant
building,
change
it's
then to the
okay.
design to what we saw last week. Okay. Okay.
All right, good. Any comments from the public on 48 Norwood?
We're grateful for everything you guys are doing.
Yes, your opinion counts for sure. The residents of 48 Norwood. Henry, you made a good point when we were preparing for this meeting that the extension will actually convert some disturbed area, which is pervious, to building, which will be impervious.
Well, let's ask Mr. Gaddis if that's still the case. I
Is
think
that still the case?
I think maybe we should just see a quick, maybe, do you have an updated map, Jim? You could share your screen.
Jim, me?
Yeah, Jim, you.
I don't have an updated plot plan. It hasn't changed. And unfortunately, if I did, I wouldn't know how to make it come up on your screen. But you guys have a whole package of the plot
Yeah.
plan. It's still the same. So the driveway that goes back towards the existing building, we're going to be moving that forward about 15 to 20 feet and creating Greenland. So I think that's what you're referring to.
Mhm.
It-
Okay, I'm just looking to see if I can bring it up
I
from,
can try to bring up like the original one.
could you? That'd be great.
Yeah, and I'm still confused. Gordon,
Yeah.
Gordon tried to get at, is the footprint of the current plan the same as the original building, or is it the same as on the plans you plan to build the ADU?
It's the proposed building, Henry, is exactly the same size as what we're planning on doing. So we haven't changed anything except for the kitchen layout.
And it's moving a little further forward.
Yeah, it's moving a little further. If you look at the plot plan there to the right, you'll see the existing is outlined in I think it's blue there, and we're moving it off of the property line to create that required setback.
Gotcha. So I think, Gordon, do you understand that the same?
I think, yes.
Proposed
So
building
the
is the same.
proposed building
It's just
is much
moved
larger than the
in space.
current building in terms of square footage. So there's a decrease in pervious area due to the building itself, but there's probably an offset because of the driveway. And so the net change in pervious area is
That's
it
our
on
big
that drawing
question for
there?
you, Mr. Gaddis.
Yeah.
Net change in impervious area.
Like it's 150 feet
Yeah, it's
from
yeah, it's not a lot. I'm not.
over there on the left.
Yeah,
See the summary table on the left, impervious area summary.
right.
Right. But that's now changed, I think, Steve.
Is that right?
Let's see.
No, it hasn't changed. So if you look at the driveway, it's 1,640 square feet. We're knocking that down 210 square feet less.
Mm-hmm. Some of which gets covered up by a building, but some of which doesn't.
Right.
Yeah, so you
So the
made
net
the calculation.
so the net change though is that we do lose pervious area by 150 square feet.
157.
Okay.
Yeah, 157.
Got it.
So we could certainly require a modest amount of mitigation for that. Although I'm not sure where. Maybe surrounding the building in the back. My memory from living there a while ago is that the behind the building is kind of overgrown.
Yep.
Yeah, and there'll be a bit more space there now than there was previously, so I suppose that could become an area for planting some native shrubs or ferns or ground cover.
Sure.
And roughly speaking, that would be about 45 by 8. So more than the 157 incremental impervious by 3 to 2. I'm doing this in my head, so I'm not sure.
Oh, you're
It's
in the
coming out
ballpark,
accurately.
Steve, but do you think it sounds like it's all shade right now?
That I can't remember, Henry.
Okay.
I can't remember the grade either. I think there may be a slope up into the property to the
There is a slope
west.
up from that going up, yes.
Yeah.
So when we were on the site visit, I thought there was talk about moving the pavement and having the pavement kind of stop at the back of the existing house, but maybe you can just clarify. It looks here like the pavement is going to go all the way up to about 6 feet from the house. Is that?
Yeah, that is not correct. It is
Okay.
back here. So I think that's it. Can you guys see my cursor?
No,
I see
We,
my cursor
No,
there.
because you're not screen
if you're not
sharing.
sharing.
Oh, okay.
We're
Yeah,
seeing
the-
Bethany's cursor.
The pavement is not going within 6 feet. It doesn't go back that far in the proposed, in what we're proposing. I'm sorry for that. We did not correct that, but the 100 square feet that you're talking about that we're losing, that's where I'm a little confused. I thought we're gaining some, but I think we can certainly make that up by bringing that pavement back. I mean, to make up 100 square feet, it would only need to go back 9 feet actually, but we can take it back even farther than that. Um, that's
Oh,
not,
what's your current plan, Jim? Is it to end it at the edge of the deck on the existing house or further down?
we don't know exactly yet what the landscape plan is going to be because we just haven't developed it that far. We know that that driveway, even through construction, and demolition, that driveway's coming back. There's no reason that the proposed driveway would go all the way back there. Cars aren't going to go that close to this building. I would say it's probably going to be 15 to 20 feet away, which is not marked correctly on that. We can certainly support this drawing with a revised plan there that will give us that 120 square feet we're looking for.
Yeah, so a simpler condition would be that there be no change in impervious cover, and you can adjust the driveway to make that happen.
Absolutely. And
Sounds like you're
I think
open
that,
to
that, yeah, not only open to it, I think that's going to happen naturally.
Yeah,
Yeah, to
Steve,
create a little more green space,
I'd add no change or reduction in
right,
impervious.
in impervious.
Yeah, I think
That
we can
sounds great.
probably vote to close, and we'll condition that pending a revised map and maybe a landscape plan.
Sounds great.
Good, there's no further comment from public or commission. I'll hear a motion to close.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
thank you. All those in favor? Olga,
Okay.
Gordon,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
Henry,
Aye.
and I am an aye as well. So thank you, Matronos, and thank you, Jim Gaddis.
Thank you guys. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jim.
Can't wait to see it. Now we have new notices of intent. The first is 146 Bridge Street, Mass DEP 39-943. Jacqueline and Matthew Rossiter. This is proposed patio construction, utility improvements and landscaping within riverfront and 100-foot buffer zone. We don't have a map and lot, but we'll stipulate that, and we'll also stipulate that notice of this hearing has been published and properly circulated, right, Bethany? Great. Okay, who's here tonight to help us understand this?
Good evening, Chairman. My name is Sam Soderholm from Soderholm Custom Builders. We're actually the builder on the project. With me, we have Matt and Jacqueline Rossiter from Home, the new owners. I have Bob Griffin from Griffin Engineering, who helped prepare the NOI. And then, if needed, we have Troy and Elizabeth from Lombardi Landscape Architects and Patrick Christian from Blue Hour, who is our architect of record. The Rossiters have gone to painstaking lengths to preserve the home and restore it. We're in the midst of that project under a building permit by right. We did have staff out to review preemptive erosion control and site limit work so that we could get going on certain aspects that are outside of the jurisdictional buffer. And so tonight, like we mentioned in the NOI filing, preliminarily to remove the existing septic fields is the largest imposition to the setback, and restore that into the naturalized field areas, and then some expansion of the hardscape on the rear of the home to kind of bring it up to modern day living. So I can turn it over to Bob now and let him present the submittal, if that works.
Sure, feel free to share your screen, Bob, if you have plans we can share.
I do understand. I just want to get it right. Let's see. I think I've lost you guys.
No, we're here and we see your screen.
Okay.
Good. Do you see the map now?
Yes.
Okay. So the Rossiters purchased this property about a year ago. It's about a 2.6 acre parcel, and it's right there at the corner of Bridge Street and Boardman Avenue near the Beverly Town line. Here's a 2023 aerial, and you can see the house is sort of close to the street. It's typically not that visible because of these shrubs out front, but behind the house is a grassy sort of lawn area. And then the next sort of change in green color is a Phragmites bed, and there's some salt marsh down here behind there as well. I want to point out sort of an unusual feature to this project, and that's to the right as you're looking at the picture at 29 Boardman Avenue. You can see there's a water feature here, and this water feature drains down across 27 Boardman, and then it crosses the driveway here, and then it comes across onto the 146 property, pretty much at that southern property line there. I'm sorry about the noise from the phone call. Somebody's calling here. The house is getting a thorough renovation, as Sam pointed out. These are some pictures. Walls being replaced, exterior, load-bearing walls being replaced. And here's a picture of the house from the rear yard, looking over the grassy lawn towards the structure. The original structure was built about in late 1800s. That circular water feature shows up again here on the USGS map, and it doesn't really have an especially large drainage area, but you can see that it has this blue colored stream coming off of it. And this is, according to the regulations, a perennial stream. So you can even look at sort of in the upper left here, here's Chubb's Crook coming along, crossing 127, and here's an intermittent stream, the lighter colored blue here. So this really should have had an intermittent stream because it just doesn't have the drainage area to make it perennial. But in any event, for the purposes of filing our notice of intent and complying with the regulations, we treated this little stream as a perennial stream. And you'll see that as we show our site plan. And this is our site plan. It's a very busy plan. We're going to zoom in on a few things as we move along here. I do want to point out sort of the jurisdictional areas. This highlighted yellow line is the jurisdictional area on the front side of the property. And there's some wetlands across the street at 163 Bridge Street. We had flagged those for a previous project, and so we had a pretty good handle on where that buffer zone line falls. It really brings you just close to the property line here along Bridge Street. And then there's a flood zone, elevation 14, that crosses the property here. So everything from the yellow line to the north or away from the house is in the jurisdictional area in the front yard. In the backyard, we've got that perennial stream coming down here from 29 and 27 Boardman crossing the road here, and that casts a 100-foot riverfront area here and a 200-foot riverfront area here. It stops in this sort of abrupt fashion because at this point and further to the street, this is an impoundment. This is that circular feature that we saw on the plan. So the riverfront regulations stop at that point. So we have an area in the backyard that falls under the riverfront regulations, as I'll explain as we go along. We're not really changing the use of that area very much. It's going to remain as lawn as it is today for the most part. There's a blue line in the backyard, which is our elevation 14 flood zone. So everything from the blue line back towards the salt marsh is in that flood zone. We have a top of coastal bank a little bit above it, and that casts a 30-foot zone, a 50-foot zone, and this yellow line is the 100-foot zone from the coastal bank and from this water feature over here on 29. So that's how we determined the jurisdictional areas associated with the project. So there's a lot going on here. Over on the left-hand side of the plan, I'll go back here. You can see we have these squares in various locations on the plan. They refer to this key on the left-hand side, which describes the work associated with the project. So it was just an effort to try to make the plan a little less busy. And we'll go through those as we're going through the project here. We'll start at the front of the house. So here's our jurisdictional line again, and the work in the jurisdictional area is a new electrical line, a new transformer. This is in the process of being coordinated with National Grid, and also a replacement of the water line to the house. It's just too small and too old, and so it needs to be replaced. And so the water line will go in the same location as the existing water line. National Grid will hopefully bring the electric line, something pretty close to this. And from the transformer, the electric services split between the two adjacent properties here, the 146, and I forget the number here of our neighbor, but I'll get that before we get too far. So that's the work in the front yard. There's some work outside of jurisdiction is a new septic system. This is an 11-bedroom house, an 11-bedroom septic system. Circular driveway is pretty much going to remain in the same location as presently exists. There's some new walkways, some new shrubs and landscaping around the building. There's a garage addition which recently started construction attached to the house here, and there'll be a driveway court installed in front of the garage and a little play terrace behind it. I'll next go to the back of the property. So the work behind the building that's in jurisdiction, again, here's that yellow line indicating the 100-foot buffer zone. This is about a 1,600 square foot patio. It will be impervious, and it will have some drain inlets to capture the stormwater runoff. It'll have a stone surface and a stone wall around the edge of it and stone steps and all that. But about 1,600 square feet, and it'll enter the drainage system. This square area down here is about 400 square feet. This is a new stormwater infiltration bed. It will receive the runoff from that patio. It will also receive some runoff from the roof of the building and the garage addition, the play terrace, and the driveway court. So we've got a lot more water going into the ground as a result of our proposed improvements than currently exists. The other thing, and Sam mentioned this a little bit, is there are two failed septic systems in the back of this property. This shaded rectangle is the older of the two, and then this rectangle here. And the goal is to remove the stone, the pipes, the tanks, the manholes, all these cleanouts and things there's just a whole bunch of stuff that sort of clutters up the backyard. And so the goal is to remove those, replace them with clean granular soil, and put down new lawn or loam seed and landscaping in accordance with the landscaping plan. I'll show that in a minute, and Elizabeth Kenrick from Gregory Lombardi Design Associates is here, who can explain the landscaping in more detail than I could ever hope to. We also have some new shrub beds and plantings along Boardman Avenue, along the house here, and as we'll see in the landscaping plan, there's some new trees and things going in along the property line separating 146 from 148 Bridge Street. We have a line on here. This number 12 here is new erosion controls. There's currently erosion controls and construction fencing around the entire sort of renovation project. Those get moved back at the time of cleaning out the backyard and installing the drainage system for the stormwater management. Next slide shows the drainage system. This is just the locations of the roof leaders and the drain lines, bringing stormwater from the building to the new infiltration bed in this back area here. This is the landscaping materials plan. I'll just quickly note that the materials list, gravel, this pertains to the reconstruction of the circular driveway. The new garage court and a little play area next to the garage will be impervious. Those go to the drainage system. The patio is also impervious, and that is the stone terrace. The items 5, 6, and 7 all pertain to the rear patio area here. In regards to the landscape layout, we do have some plants which I'll show you in a second, but basically we've got some, these tannish colored areas are new shrubs and along Boardman Avenue. There's also new beds around the entirety of the house. There's two different sort of shades of grass here, because I think one would be, this area in the backyard will be maintained more as a conventional lawn like it is now. But there are also some darker green areas here, which will be a grass species that doesn't require quite so much maintenance. some new trees and shrubs along the property line on the west, as I mentioned a moment ago. The plans that we submitted include a planting list with some, the stuff you've seen all the time, summer sweet, winterberry, northern bayberry, and there'll be other plants and shrubs, I'm sure, as the landscaping continues. And I think that sort of summarizes my presentation. We'd be happy to address any questions. Before we do that, I do want to note one thing. We did on the DEP website, I noticed today there was some questions from DEP or comments on the filing, and I'd have some answers to those questions. But so I'll just quickly run through what DEP had on their list. They wanted us to quantify, the temporary and permanent land subject to coastal storm flowage impacts. And so we do have a little bit of work in land subject to coastal storm flowage in the backyard. It's this little portion of the stormwater infiltration bed is within the flood zone. And we're not going to really be changing grades, but we're not changing the surface. So there's no new impervious surfaces back here, but we do have about 200 square feet of work in the land subject to coastal storm flowage in the backyard. And in the front yard, we have a new transformer, some electrical lines, and some water main work, a little bit of driveway reconstruction work. So about 700 square feet of work in this area out front in the land subject to coastal storm flowage. So we'll provide that information in writing to you and to DEP. They also asked us how was the mean annual high water line determined, and they're referring to the riverfront calculation, this 100-foot line and the 200-foot line. And the way we got that line was by tracing the aerial photograph. So we have good registration on our aerial photographs. We have a very narrow stream. It's only, a few feet wide. And so I feel very good about the locations of our 100 and 200-foot lines. I think they've been accurately defined here. And then they lastly wanted us to demonstrate that there's no adverse impact on the coastal bank associated with the work within 100 feet of the coastal bank. And by that, they mean the work in the rear yard. And so in this case, we're protecting the coastal bank by, number one, we're not going to have any significant topographic alterations back here. We'll certainly install erosion controls during construction, and we're going to be picking up the runoff from the patio and the building and putting it into the infiltration system. So all of this, I think, contributes to protecting the coastal bank at this site. We don't expect to have any alterations of coastal bank as a result of our work. And that was the last of DEP questions. And at this point, I'd be happy to address yours.
Great, thank you. That was very thorough. Questions or comments from the commission?
Sure. I have a question, Bob. You're going to dig up 2 older septic fields, it sounds like, right?
Right.
What's the purpose of putting the new infiltration field in the back corner and adding a problem of being within that the demarcation you discussed? Couldn't you're going to add soil with the known characteristics in your two other holes, aren't you?
Right. So the reason we picked that particular location is that it is at a lower topographic elevation than the septic system itself. And so we need that lower elevation so that we can drain the driveway and the play area and the patio by gravity into this subsurface infiltration area. We probably will provide some gravel, crushed stone underneath this infiltration system as part of that construction. But that was why we picked that location, was the topographic reasons, and it also is an area that we could put it without interfering with other landscaping features and the like.
Okay, makes sense. And then is there any reason you didn't look at, or would the applicant consider looking at impervious pavers for the patio?
So we have impervious stone material in the patio, and we're collecting all of the runoff from that area, and we use that as part of sizing the infiltration area.
No, gotcha. Sorry, I said impervious and I meant pervious pavers.
Oh. I'm certain we can talk about that further with our landscape architect and the owner.
Great, thank you.
David, you had some questions?
I had a question, somewhat related to Henry's. The 2 failed septic systems, you said you're going to try to clean those up and use some clean fill for those. Do you plan to raise the level of the existing ground level with that new fill?
No, we're proposing to keep, it's really a nice level backyard and we want to keep it a nice level backyard. No significant topographic alterations.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Other questions or comments from the commission? Any questions or comments from the public? Try to scan the audience here. See if anybody has raised a hand. I'm not seeing any. Well, given the complexity and detail of this, I, for one, would benefit from a site visit. How do others feel about that?
Sure.
Yes.
So, applicant and consulting team, are you amenable to a site visit for us and a continuance to our next meeting?
Yeah, we sort of had, expected that would happen and we're happy to meet you out there.
Right. Okay, well, we've fallen in the habit of doing this on Saturday mornings, which seems to work for our various schedules, and I hope that'll work for one of you. If not Bob, then somebody else. Olga, Henry, David,
I'm
Gordon, is that?
here, but that's okay.
I've
Not
got,
here this Saturday.
Oh, wait a minute, then we can't do it. We're losing them. David, how about you?
I'm not available after 10, but before that, I could do 8 a.m., 9 a.m.
Mhm. And
How about Gordon?
how about Gordon?
Yeah, I think I'm available this Saturday.
Okay, so that'd be three of us. Henry, you can't.
Oh, but I would do it if you have three, and maybe, I don't know, is Jim out of town, or we can ask him, right?
Yeah. Why don't we set it up tentatively then, if that's all right, for 9 a.m. on Saturday, the 6th. Excuse me. And we'll bring our mucklucks.
We'll see you there.
Okay. I'll hear a motion for a continuance with the consent of the applicant
So moved.
to our next meeting.
Second.
All those in favor, David,
Aye.
Olga,
Aye.
Gordon. Searching for the mute
Aye.
button.
Sorry.
Thank you, Henry.
Aye.
And I'll make that unanimous. Thank you, Rossiters. Thank you, Bob, and the rest of the team.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you.
All right, this brings us to new notice of intent from 373 Summer Street. DEP file number I don't have here. Applicant is Kathleen Johnson. The project includes slight expansion, existing footprint, adding a new foundation
Excuse me.
within a 100-foot buffer zone.
I have the DEP number. I made the agenda
Okay.
before it updated.
Yep.
It is 039-0944.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Tyler Judd. I'm an engineer with Gateway Consultants, and I'll be talking a little bit about this project here at 373 Summer Street. And then I'll pass this off to John if anybody has any further questions. So this is a pretty basic single-family addition onto the front and the rear. Oh, sorry. I can share my screen if you guys
Yes,
don't mind.
please.
Everybody see that?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So basically, this home is right off of Summer Street, comes down a long driveway. Primary home is right here, and then there's a cottage in the back. And the owner would like to just add a simple addition off to the front overhang of the home and then onto the rear. As you can see, there's already an existing portion of the home for this addition here and here. But the owner would just like to bump out 5 feet in the back and then a couple feet in the front. They will be adding a new foundation to the front and the rear. And overall, this will really only be a net impact of 134 square feet overall. Over here along the fence, we're providing a 2-to-1 ratio for mitigation plantings, 270 square feet of native shrubs and grasses. So yeah, it's basically just a pretty simple addition onto this rear cottage at 373. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, and John is also on this call if you'd like to ask him.
Can you just run us through the wetland boundaries here?
Sure. Yeah, there's wetlands on the, I believe that's northern, or no. Anyway, yeah, there on both sides of the property, there's wetlands over here, and then a small isolated wetland over here. And right here is the 50-foot wetland buffer for the rear wetland, and then on the other side of the road, the 100-foot wetland buffer comes up here.
Okay.
Tyler, is it sewer or septic?
This home is on septic, I believe.
Does it
Yes.
share with the other home?
Yeah, right here we have the 3 sewer manholes. We didn't go crazy on the detail for 371, but this home, the septic components come over here. I can zoom in a little bit. Right here is the septic tank on the side of the house. And then I believe it's pumped up onto towards 371.
Okay, thank you.
Is 371 the new construction?
It's not new construction, but in the past couple of years, I believe that they've done some renovations on the property.
370, if I can add.
I'm gonna jump in. Yeah, it's brand new. 371 is brand new.
Oh, it is brand new.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember doing that and permitting a variety of things there. But I don't remember paying any attention to the cottage.
So the whole point of the cottage, I'm sorry.
Sorry,
it's
could you identify yourself,
yeah,
please?
it's Kathleen Johnson speaking. I'm filing the permit. And so we have 2 sections to the cottage, which Tyler was mentioning. I wouldn't necessarily call them additions because they are currently there. Unfortunately, there's no foundation, and so they're currently falling into the dirt. And so what we want to do is make this a livable cottage again. So we can't salvage what is there. So we're going to take them off, put an actual foundation in and rebuild. So it is increasing very slightly from the square footage, but most of the square footage is currently already there. It's just not on an actual foundation.
So you're pouring 2 new slabs, is that right?
Correct.
And what foundation is the existing dwelling on?
The existing dwelling is it has an old cellar, like an old stone cellar.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the commission?
Steve, I'd like to see this property. I'm a little confused as to what things are gonna look like.
Yeah,
Can we make this part of the site visit? Should we make this part of the site visit on Saturday?
I think that's probably a good idea if we can schedule it with the folks here. I had a question before we do that, which is, I assume this is well outside the riverfront to Wolf Trap Creek or brook.
Correct. Yeah. It wouldn't even fit on the sheet. It's pretty far away.
Got it. Thank you. All right, any comment or question from the public? I'm hearing none. So our applicant and team okay with setting up a site visit for Saturday morning?
Yes, we'll be available whenever you are.
Somebody sounds thrilled. Great. So that would be sometime between 9:45 and 10. Let's say 9:45 to be generous with the earlier visit. Does that work, David, or would we lose you?
Yeah, no, that'll work. It
Okay.
sounds like it's gonna be a quick visit anyway, just a walkthrough.
Yeah, I think that's right. Excellent. Then I'll hear a motion for a continuance and we'll schedule the site visit for 9:45 on Saturday, December 6th.
So moved on the continuance.
Seconded.
Thank you. Thank you. All those in favor? Henry?
Aye.
Olga?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Gordon?
Aye.
And I am an aye as well. Thank you, Tyler, and
Absolutely.
Kathleen.
Thank you, everyone.
See
Thank
some
you.
of you on Saturday. Which brings us to another new NOI from the Manchester DPW for Atwater Avenue. Proposed roadway and utility improvements on Atwater. Nate, are you here for that?
Yep, I'm here for that.
Welcome. Glad to see you. Hope you're
Yeah,
well.
yeah, glad to be here tonight. So this project, we kind of got three different components of this project. Two of them are a result of the CST project and provisions or conditions that the planning board placed on CST. So that was the roadway improvement with the sidewalk, and then the culvert lining portion. Then the other component is extending sewer and water down to Kit Glass Road. The ultimate goal for those, some of you may be aware, we are looking at, high level about moving the DPW and or public safety or some combination up to the 197 School Street property, which is where Black Earth was previously located. And so in preparation of that project or potential project, we would like to extend those utilities up to Kit Glass before we ultimately pave it, which is a condition of the CST work. So I think Mike DeRosa is here tonight to present the project. So I'll turn it over to him.
Hello, everyone. Mike DeRosa, DeRosa Environmental. I'll share my screen if that's okay. We do have a file number with no technical comments from the from DEP. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
So essentially, as Nate said, we're doing roadway and utility improvements on Atwater Ave. I'll zoom in here so you can see where we're at. So School Street is here. Atwater Ave comes off of School and heads back to the MAC. The garden center is out front. And basically, the work is all within the street layout. It's all work within the roadway. We have lots of resource areas, mostly bordering vegetated wetland and buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetland, and then riverfront area, 200-foot riverfront area from Sawmill Brook. Those are the resource areas. One of the other projects or portions of the project is the relining of this culvert. This is a photo of the culvert. It's an arched culvert, open channel underneath. That's all going to stay the same. And what we're going to do is line that with a fiber mesh. I'll zoom in here. And likely this work will be done this summer, so probably during a low flow period. But we will use sandbags to channel the water to the center of the channel, and then there'll be 3 stacked 24-inch bypass pipes, so just culverts that are stacked there. Sorry. And then, so the water will be allowed to flow through the middle, and then that gives us 2 work areas on each side to spray the culvert with it's a concrete and what's it called, Nate? I'm blanking out on
Like
what
a shotcrete, so it's like a
Like a
cementitious
shotcrete.
liner that has a fiber
Exactly.
mesh that
Yeah.
provides additional strength.
So it gives strength and support to the arch culvert, and then the pipes will be removed, the bypass pipes, the sandbags will be removed. So it's all temporary impacts. And essentially that's it. Again, everything will be done in the street layout. Street's going to be repaired. Utilities are going to come over the culvert, so they're going to thermally insulate them. It'll be water line and sewer. And so there won't be anything going underneath it. That'll all stay as it is. So we can take questions if you want. Nate's here. He knows more about it than I do at this point.
Could you
I
show
can
us
go
the
into a lot
layout?
more detail, but in the sake of brevity.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the layout position of the proposed sidewalk.
Yes, that's right. There's a proposed sidewalk on I believe it's this side, Nate, is that
Yep.
right?
Yep, the north side.
Yep. And
And
that
that
allows
was-
pedestrian access all along Atwater, so.
Yep, and that was per condition for CST's approval, planning board approval.
And will that be within the current envelope of the existing roadway, or are you going to extend?
No, it'll be extended.
Yep.
Yeah, it would have to be. It's a turf area now. I don't know if I have photos in the NOI or not. There may not be any photos there.
I didn't see any.
No,
Yeah,
typically we do, but not in this one.
I'm curious about that because I think it's kind of tight quarters on the resource, although I didn't see your delineation yet.
Yeah, we could certainly do a site walk. This is not a rush by any stretch. The work will be done just
spring,
trying to see if
summer.
we can see the
Green is the resource boundary.
yeah. So we've got the guardrail there, and then I believe the sidewalks on the other side of the guardrail.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we tried to keep it as tight to the existing layout as possible, through the whole corridor. But, like you said, it's definitely quite close in some locations.
Well, how do commissioners feel? Do you have questions now, and or would you like to walk this and see it for yourselves?
I'd like to walk it, even though I travel on it almost every day.
It's a very different experience to walk down it. I can tell you from having done that with the CST proposal and Hancock when they were delineating. Just as an aside, are there still beaver activity on any side of that culvert? There was quite a lodge and an attempted dam around it.
Well, these pictures were last week, so I didn't see
Probably not.
any activity. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
I
been a
didn't
couple
see any
years
act-
since we've had
Yeah.
any.
Yeah, you can see a debris pile, but that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like the lodge is gone. Great. Okay, well, we could schedule that for 10:30 on Saturday.
Yep.
Make it a threefer.
I'm unfortunately out of town this weekend, so I won't be able to attend.
I can be there, so that's fine. Fine for
Okay.
me.
Great.
Thank you.
Is there any way we could go earlier than 10:30?
You want
Yep.
to do it before the 9, like an 8:30 visit at
That would be,
at
that
one?
would be good for me.
Yeah, I can be there.
Yep, I can do that too.
Okay, great.
All right, 8:30 on December 6th, Saturday, weather, regardless of the weather. There's no such thing as bad weather, right?
Only bad clothing.
Right. Thank you. And let me just check and see any public comment on proposed work at Atwater Avenue by DPW. All right, then, I'll hear a motion to continue to our next meeting and to schedule a site visit for 8:30 on December 6th.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor, Gordon,
Aye.
Henry,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
Olga,
Aye.
and I'll join you. It's unanimous. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Mike.
Where are we
Thank you,
gonna
everyone.
meet, Steve? What part of the Atwater Avenue do we want to gather on?
Do you want to
Kit
Park
Glass
at,
is kind of right in the middle. It's a good
yeah,
spot.
park in the corner of Kit Glass,
Yeah.
Okay,
that's sharp uphill to the right.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think there's some pull-out areas right around there.
Okay.
Cool, thanks, good question. Which brings us to the request for a certificate of completion, compliance, and de minimis change request. The certificate of compliance comes from 94 Bridge Street, Mass DEP 39-852, Edward and Karen Crawley, who, if I remember right, built a pier and a gangway and float and did some seawall and salt marsh work restoration on Whittier Cove. Susan, are you here for that tonight?
Yes, I am. And also Mike,
Good.
Mike
Nice.
can also chime in if he needs to. So let me
Excellent.
share my screen. Hey, what's going on here? Hold on.
It's coming.
There we
it
are.
is.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. Let me just get to. Okay. So we're here requesting a final certificate of compliance. As you might recall, we appeared before the commission in January to request a partial certificate of compliance for the pier, float and gangway, and the seawall work. But your order of conditions required a 2-year monitoring of the salt marsh. So we've DeRosa finally completed their monitoring, and they submitted their second and final monitoring plan to the commission late October of this year. And so that's why we're now seeking a certificate of compliance for the whole project. This is an aerial view showing this is the property here. And as you might recall, there's an easement on the adjacent property, which is how they gain access down to the waterfront and across the MBTA tracks. And this is the wall. You can hardly see it. And then that's the pier that was constructed. The pier and the seawall were completed in the summer of 2024, and as soon as that was completed, the salt marsh plantings were installed. And the first salt marsh monitoring plan was submitted to the commission in October of 2024. As I just mentioned, the partial certificate of compliance was issued this past January. And then the second and final monitoring plan was submitted about a little over a month ago. This plan was included in the notice of intent, and it shows the areas of salt marsh restoration and the proposed planting of Spartina alterniflora in this location here. Here's the stairway. When you see the photos I'm going to show, that's the stairway. This is the pier, the platform, float, and gangway. This is the site when the the seawall was completed, the pier was installed, and the site was graded. As you might recall, we had to put core logs in here. And then they also put in core matting to accommodate the plantings. So again, here's a view of the pier going out to the platform, a view of the platform, a view of the platform gangway and float. This is an image of the site once the 500 salt marsh plugs were installed.
Susan, I don't know about the others, but I can only see sky in this one, the upper
Oh,
left.
really?
I can see the whole
Yeah,
thing.
I
can
see
you?
it.
Okay.
Just use your cursor and
see.
you can just scroll down if you just like
Oh,
hover
there we
above
go. Yes.
Oh,
I had
okay.
just,
Everyone else can see
zoomed
it?
in.
Yes.
Yep,
Okay.
now I'm good too. Thank you.
That wouldn't be helpful just seeing the sky.
So that's a
So,
nice
yeah.
sky.
So yeah, so that shows all the plugs after they were installed. And these are the September photos. The report that they recently submitted included some photos from the previous year as well as photos from this past September. So the salt marsh is taking pretty good. And they're very happy with the results, and they continue to grow and expand. There you see the core matting and the plugs coming through it. And so it's even growing under the pier, which is a bonus. And it's having a little bit of a tougher time here because of the incoming tides during high tide, but it is growing. And so special condition 29 required the 2-year salt marsh monitoring, and it also imposed a 75% survival rate. And DeRosa, their most recent report found that there was a 75% survival rate. So we're hoping that we can get a final certificate of compliance tonight. I don't know if you have any questions for me or Mike.
That looks great, Susan.
It came out
I
great.
agree.
They did a great job.
Susan, are you able to confirm that for the stone wall work? I think we had requested that no geotextiles were used in that.
No, it wasn't. No textile.
Perfect. And then just existing stones that were on the beach were used for the wall. Is that right?
Yeah, gravity laid wall.
Awesome. And Mike, in your photo 12,
Yep.
there's a little bit of I guess some of the Spartina didn't take. Is that because of water, high tide, or what do you think?
Because of high tide and probably some erosive forces there, but you can see where it got established. I can share my screen, Susan, if you want. I've
Sure.
got the same picture.
I allowed.
Yep, I see it. Oops, sorry. My thing's going everywhere. Thank you, Bethany. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is the one, right, Henry?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so it's establishing here and it's establishing here. And you can see how these runners are heading out. So it is going to expand into that area.
Mhm.
It just had a rough time that first couple of years. We had some storms that kind of, I think, undermined it and washed it away, even though we used the heavy core mesh to lock them in. But they're doing well, and you can see that. Get my little pencil here. You can see how they're in a row.
Mhm.
So those are runners from the originally planted plants. So they're spreading there, and same with these. So they are getting established. I'm pretty happy with the outcome.
Yeah, I think most of it looks great.
Yeah. It's just
And
that rough
you're not
spot.
worried that
That'll happen.
anything should be done for that area just in the shorter term?
I think here's other shots that show them expanding.
Yeah, no, the rest look good.
Yeah. So I think not for now. I think there's not much that we could do now. We'll just watch that. We'll continue to we always take these projects like these are our children, and we keep watching them over time to see what happens. So I'm happy with this, and I think the full and final certificate of compliance is warranted.
Great, thank you.
Great. Any other
Steve or
questions?
the applicant, I guess I'm just curious about the timing of everything. It sounded like maybe it's only been 1 year with two observations a year apart. Can you comment on when the initial plantings were made and how much time has
It
elapsed?
should be in that report.
Yeah.
I think the plants went in July 2023.
Oh, it's been that
I
long.
must have made a mistake in the presentation. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yep, sounds entirely kosher. Bethany, any comments from your standpoint?
I took a site visit last Tuesday with Ike and Susan and the applicant. And even though it's not like a great time to look at the vegetation in November, I could still see them. They were still visible, and you could still see them like spreading out. And they were pointing to me out like where they were spreading like underneath the pier. So it looked good to me when I was there.
Excellent. All right, commission ready to vote? Can I hear a motion?
Yeah, I'll move that we issue a complete certificate of compliance for 94 Bridge Street, 39-0852.
Seconded.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Gordon?
Aye.
Henry?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Olga?
Aye.
And I'll make that unanimous. Thank you.
Thank
you,
everyone.
Elise, and thank you,
Thank you.
Susan. Mike?
Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We have a final request here for de minimis change at 15 Eagle Head Road, DEP file 39-821 from Marion
Yes.
Mukel.
I don't see her here.
It self-explanatory enough, do you think, for us to, it seemed it when I read, but I've opened to
Yeah, let me pull up
suggestions
the
here.
letter.
Thank you.
Just give me a second while it loads. I'll pull up the letter for you all to see. Let me hold on. This is the letter. I know she did two letters. Trying to find. Okay. Hold on, sorry. This is what she wrote. She was saying that they're gonna move this. This is the second de minimis modification that she's going to do, and that they're gonna remove the existing structure from the existing footprint, so that is 2 feet outside the 30-foot no disturb zone, and that the previously approved structure was within the 30-foot no disturb zone, and she said they're gonna further reduce the impervious surface area by 512 square feet. And the newly proposed structure will have 448 square feet.
Okay, how do others on the commission feel? Is that sufficient information to proceed? I'm not hearing any objections. Silence being acquiescence.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will move we grant a de minimis change as requested for DEP file 39-821-15 Eagle Head. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Henry?
Aye.
Olga?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Gordon?
Aye.
I'll make that unanimous. So at this point, we'll recess from public hearing and talk about orders of condition, which I think we have to talk about only one, which is, nope, sorry, two. So
Yes.
we need to finalize the dredging
Yeah, Nate's
Manchester
here.
Harbor entrance and also 48 Norwood. So let's start with dredging, since
Nate,
Nate
you're
is here.
here.
Yep, I'm here.
We had issues, I think, or between us, we had some issues about the slope and edge definition of the channel. Nate, what is your position on that?
So I think really the only thing we took exception to is the 3-to-1 slope. The proposed 3-to-1 slope being revised to a 2-to-1 slope. And in Foth's experience and how they, design this project, it's based around a 3-to-1 slope. And that's just based on the natural repose of the sand. So like when you take a scoop out, it's a big dredge. So depending on what the actual material is, if it's a loose sand, you are going to have more of a slope. If it's a stiffer material, you'll have a more vertical slope. So it's largely dictated upon, or almost entirely dictated upon the actual seabed material that we're dredging. So, in Foth's experience that, there's really no way that they can, in how this project has been currently designed, meet that 2-to-1 slope. So if we were to go back, if 2-to-1 slope was required, we would have to go back and do more geotechnical analysis, and potentially change the method of dredging to meet that 2-to-1 slope.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, just being frank, it's an SEC grant funding the design, and there is not any fluff. There's no contingency there to do any sort of amendment for that. So that's really kind of where it comes from. It's an estimated toe, a slope to the top. You're not, and that's based off of doing soundings after the project. So you might have some areas that 2-to-1 is easily met, and then other areas where it's, closer to a 3-to-1.
Gotcha. Understood. Henry, can you remind us what the argument was? I think it was from Phil Colarusso that might be too steep a slope.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's see, I just looked at,
He emailed, I remember.
yes, he did. I mean, his advice was 2-to-1. And I can read what he said. Just give me 1 second.
Thank you.
It's coming. It's coming, I promise. So, let's see. Phil's comment was this. Come on. So he said the reason he brought up side slopes is that the area of impact is an underestimate. 2-to-1 is more likely to exist in the real world. If you require 2-to-1 and require them to stay within the previously authorized channel, that would result in a slight narrowing in the width of the channel. Stating the obvious, the lower the impact, the lower the mitigation requirement, the lower the cost to Manchester. I can't tell you that I have any opinion on that, but he's our expert.
Yeah, except for the point Nate just made about having to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I don't think that's what we're trying to accomplish.
No, nor do I.
So
I just want to be realistic of what, if it was conditioned that way and, we went forward with the project as is, and, there are some areas that, potentially it could meet the 2-to-1. What would be the recourse for the areas that are not 3-to-1? I guess is the concern there.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not, Nate, from what you said, it's not really like a a number they punch into a computer and then it
Right.
just comes out that way.
Right. Yeah. It's not an engineered slope. It's a,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
kind of the resulting of best
Byproduct
practice
a
of dredging.
shape and
Yeah,
size. Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
So Steve, I think my advice is we go with the recommended
3-1.
is, and then in 10 years, Nate will come to us before they do the specs for the next plan.
Very
Deal.
good.
Yeah, okay.
Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Because we are good. Our conditions are all intact except for that. So we'll modify it to 3-1 with all the work within the 100-foot channel as proposed. And everything else as we previously voted last time. So are we actually amending an OC or are we just clarifying and finally voting?
It's clarifying because amending is like if they changed it, anything. and
Okay.
they didn't.
Good. So we are clarifying, but we need a motion to issue a final order with this condition and all the previous ones.
Yeah, we'll move
Thank
that for 0390940 Manchester Harbor entrance.
Second? Second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? David?
Aye.
Gordon?
Aye.
Olga?
Aye.
Henry?
Aye.
And I am an aye as well. Thank you, Nate.
Thank you all. Have a
Take
good
the rest
night.
of the day off, please. Yeah.
Just in time for bedtime.
Yeah, exactly. Your work is not done.
Nope.
The other four, we're going to go do a site visit starting at 8:30 on Saturday. We have 4 minutes for review and some new and other business. Let's try to be brisk
Should we
about those.
discuss, excuse me, sorry. Should we discuss the 48 Norwood conditions?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, we should. I skipped right over that. Because I had it in the other order. As far as I'm concerned, the standard conditions we have about fertilizer chemicals and erosion control and not storing fuel or hazardous chemicals, all those should apply. And the only special one I can think of here is what we just decided tonight, which is that we be assured that the impervious coverage is the same or less than it currently is. And they'll use the driveway, deconstructing the driveway to provide that.
I think just given the lack of clarity with the drawings and the numbers and stuff like that, it would just be nice to have an updated plan that accurately reflects that.
That's a very good idea. So they
Yeah,
can figure
which
out.
he said he would do.
Yeah, he said he would do that, but maybe we condition that.
Right.
All right, so the condition will be to provide an updated plan to reflect changes demonstrating that impervious coverage is the same or reduced.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously new location of the building.
Yeah.
Can someone real quick just tell me the difference between an accessory building and an ADU other than
Accessory building has no kitchen.
has no kitchen?
Correct. So it can't be used as a quote separate habitation. The accessory ADUs are
fully
permitted by
functional.
right. Yeah, but they're limited in size, and the zoning district that the Matronos are in
Right.
limits it to 700 square feet, and they want 1,000 square feet. So they can't come in as an ADU. They had talked about perhaps connecting it to the house with a breezeway, and then it's not either. It's just an expansion of the single family residence, but they opted to go with accessory and eliminate the kitchen.
Anything else you want me to add?
Any suggestions?
Nope.
Anybody have concerns from the site visit? Good, then we'll leave off mitigation. They can figure out what to do with the space they're creating around the building by talking to their neighbors. All right, I'll hear a motion to issue an order of conditions for 48 Norwood 39-0939.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor? Gordon?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Olga?
Aye.
Henry?
Aye.
And I am an aye. Great. Comments on the minutes? I can make two global comments. One is they're wonderfully written. I didn't catch hardly any misspellings or grammatic errors. Somebody's really
Shout out
put
to
in some.
Kendall.
Yeah, go Kendall. The other global comment is that if we're going to call people who have a doctorate doctor, we should do that right straight through. So, it's not Ms. Hayes not moved and Mr. Turner seconded. It'd be Dr. Hayes moved. But that's an easy global replace.
And I saw one thing, Bethany, in one of the November meetings, it might have been the 12th, at the very end, there was a discussion about meeting dates for 2026. And it said every 3 weeks, meeting on Wednesday. And I think that should be Tuesday. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Just double check me on that. Okay, Bethany?
And then in that one, in the 11-12, I think under improvements, I don't know what page it is, but it says Mark Weld. I think all of those are meant to be Mark Resnick.
Yeah, I think that's correct. On page 5 and 6, there's a bunch of references to Mark Weld.
Yeah.
There she goes. She changed it. Thank you.
And then on the 1021, the last paragraph starts with Edward Fomia, and it should be Beach Street as in a beach rather than a beach tree.
Sandy Beach. Yeah.
Sandy Beach, yes, rather than beach tree.
Okay, also while we're on November 12th, Adam Zager spells his name Zaiger on page 4, 3. And I don't know how precise we want to be about this, but there's a statement, the area of this small addition of 7 Central was replaced with a permeable cobblestone patio using permeable grout. I assume it was impervious cobblestone with permeable grout. Is that technically right, or am I splitting hairs here?
Yeah, the stone is not impervious.
Stone is not pervious.
No.
Good.
Sorry, I keep doing that. The stone is not pervious.
Must be your extensive science background.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What good it did.
It's in the bottom of, so I would just drop the first permeable in that sentence. At the bottom of page 3, we have the important conditions that we imposed on 7 Central. And the 4th of them says, within 90 days, the applicant must submit a proposal on how to protect the resource from additional vehicles, spaces P1 to P5 on the planning board plan. We actually asked for an application. Well, that could be an RDA, it could be an NOI. It's up to them. I suspect we were looking for an NOI, but I hesitate to aggravate them by saying it has to be an NOI. And there are some other elements which I put in there. Permanent trash dumpster was on the planning board plan. That should be permitted by us before it's installed. And any other planned work in the jurisdiction that we haven't previously permitted. So this is their chance to kind of sweep everything into one.
And while we're at it on that, Steve, the engineering details of the new staircase is theoretically due in 30 days, which means December 12th.
Correct. So I wonder, have you seen anything yet, Bethany?
Sorry,
I
didn't realize I
haven't.
was mute because I was on the editing. No, I haven't received anything. I wasn't in person today, but I haven't received any emails or anything.
Okay. Well, would you be good enough to remind them at the end of this week that their 30 days
Yeah.
is almost up, and all we need
No
is the engineering detail of
problemo.
the pads.
Okay.
And I'm sure I can only imagine they're going to have questions about what do you need to know? And the answer would be show us, how big a hole did you dig? How much concrete did you pour? Etc. It's not complicated, but show us the design of it as you actually did it. We also asked for the planning board site plan, so you could remind them we didn't have a deadline on that, but presumably that they already have that. You could remind them on Friday that we need that as well. I just noticed just below that, 15 Eaglehead Road, I think the applicant is misspelled. It's Marianne Muckle, not Muckle. Yep, you got it.
Okay, they're all edited.
Okay. Let's just take a quick look back at
The September ones.
the September ones. And see if I flagged anything. Oh yeah. Forester Road is misspelled on
Which one?
that's September 30, page 2 and 3. Appears 3 times. It's Forster, Forster.
Okay.
Okay, and then back to September 9. Oh yes, my name is misspelled at the end of page 3. And there's just a lovely turn of phrase which had me completely thrown for a loop on page 4. It says approximately half of these spaces, these parking spaces, would be on Conservation Commission property. And it says, the sentence before says it's 3 parking spaces. So I'm just curious what approximately half of 3 parking spaces is.
1.5.
Maybe we should say 1 or 2.
That's obvious.
I loved it. Anyhow, you gotta find levity wherever you can. What does that leave? That leaves only October 21. You caught the Beach Street. I think Phil Caruso is officially from the EPA. Is that correct?
Yes, he's EPA, and it's
It's not Caruso. It's
COLARU.
Colarusso. Yeah,
Colarusso, yeah.
exactly.
What? Okay.
I'll do it.
He's from the EPA, Calaruso. I see
Peter's
you.
brother. Yep. Good. And then there's Beach Street, and I think Nate DeRozier doesn't capitalize the R in his name, even though that would be a lovely French kind of usage. The last thing was in the dredging thing. I think the contractor's name is misstated. It is Foth, is that right? F-O-T-H?
OTH.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, wherever that is, I think it was listed as Borth, B-O-R-T-H. Which could come from just listening, trying to transcribe. That's all I have. So let me move. Yeah.
No, that's all I have too.
Let me move. We accept the minutes of September 9 as amended.
So moved.
Any objections? Hearing none, it's by acclamation. September 30 as amended.
So moved.
Second. Thank you. Any objection? None. Heard. October 21.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any objections? Hearing none. And November, whatever that was, 21,
12.
12th.
So moved.
Right.
And seconded.
Any objections? There be none. Excellent. Any other urgent matters? Let's see.
The new Christmas Eve's meeting question, you were
Oh, yeah.
talking about that earlier.
And I noticed that we have a meeting scheduled for December 23rd in an anticipation of two important facts. One is that there'll probably not be a quorum. And the other is that we'd rather hold the meeting at a festive location instead of a meeting. Since I think we've all earned it and we need to make sure that Bethany is properly feted for arriving in this, parachuting into this disaster area and helping us fix it up. So what do you think? Can we declare that a quorum will be lacking on the 23rd?
And
I won't be there.
There's an optional gathering. There'll be an optional
exactly
social gathering
for the few who remain in town.
for who's ever around.
So when are we doing it?
23rd, Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Where?
And
Well, you let us-
Anyone has a better
yeah,
suggestion.
we'll let that evolve. Right.
All right, optional gathering will evolve. Got it.
So I should put a notice that the meeting would be canceled.
Well,
Yes.
or reschedule to January, whatever.
We're all going to mass.
I think you need a vote on my meeting schedule that I
Yes,
made.
let's do that.
Oh, you mean the new revised schedule?
With the Tuesdays.
Yes.
All right, I move that we accept the schedule for 2026.
Seconded.
And when is the first meeting? Just so we
Let
can.
me pull it up. Hold on.
3 weeks from probably 3 weeks from the 23rd of December.
Yes, it is. It's January 13.
Boy, we were efficient tonight, you guys.
Tonight was
Yep, we
awesome.
just plowed right through. That's what happens when you turn off your video. I mean, I can't think of any other reason except we could blame Hoffman or Bodmer Turner.
Yes, January 13th is the next meeting. So all the
Okay,
dates on the schedule's correct. She just wrote Wednesday. I'll change it to Tuesday and post it
Okay,
on.
I've heard a motion to accept that schedule. And a second. All those in favor, David?
Aye.
Gordon?
Aye.
Henry?
Aye.
Olga?
Aye.
And chair is an aye as well. We have a schedule.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Jim Hoffman asked me to mention that he'd like to bring a bunch of research on what other towns have done to restrict the use of gas-powered leaf blowers, because it is increasingly widespread. Recognizing that any work that's outside of the wetland jurisdiction isn't really our affair, but we seem like a logical place for such a white paper to be accepted, and maybe we can recommend, based on the white paper, something to the select board. So anybody who wants to pitch in on the merits and hazards of gas-powered leaf blowers, talk to Jim. What else? You're working on an informative brochure?
Yes, because I want to like create and like we all want to create more like transparency with like how people can file and like where to find information. So I was working on that, but then Thanksgiving came around, so I need more time to create it with my graphic abilities.
And is it your intent to have it kind of dovetail with things like planning and zoning and building permits and whatnot?
Yeah, it's like just so it just creates more transparency for applicants so they're not like confused and they like know where to go.
Yeah, because I know Mark, I think Tony had suggested this, or I had endorsed Mark's
Yeah.
suggestion that we provide some easy way for people to say, hey, I want to put up a new fence. Do I need a building permit? Do I need to talk to Concom? Do I need to
Yeah.
go to zoning? Yeah.
So is the idea that you print out brochures and make them available at town hall or how would
Yeah, like town hall and like we can link it on the town website as well and make it like visually appealing so people are like, oh, it's nice and easy to read, which is always a priority for me, is like easy to readness of all
Yeah,
Great
I
idea. We
think
can stick
it could also be used like I'll probably stop at 2 Night Circle and say, hey, if you're going to do this building in your backyard, here are the people to contact.
Yeah, here's a
Yeah.
little pamphlet though.
A little
We should all
proactive
have
We
thing.
can just
Flyer.
airdrop them all over town.
Have a drone. Yeah, have a drone
Mail them
with
to people's
flyer.
doors.
Fly along the rivers.
Guys.
All right. Yes, and we put a pile of them at town meeting along with all those other
Yeah.
No, that's good.
handouts.
That's a good
Yeah.
idea.
Okay. Anything else?
We're good.
Yeah.
To adjourn?
Okay. It sounds like Gordon, yes.
I was just going to say, I was updating my little note tape. I showed this to Henry last year, but it looks like we've looked at 43 properties this year for what it's worth.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah.
Any idea how many NOIs we were checking?
Well, no, I don't have that in the database. I just have the properties, so I
Guess
can go
it's-
back to
my
them
guess
and
is
find them,
it's
and
at
the
least
notes will
half
help.
of them.
But
Yeah. The NOIs
But
are
I could do
actually
it.
tracked on the
Thank you for
they're
doing it.
tracked on they're tracked on the DEP website.
Yeah.
That's actually
That's true,
quite
yeah.
relevant because that's the argument we made about why Bethany's workload is so much heavier here than it is in
Mm.
Hamilton. It's
Yeah.
not that we're just so difficult to work with.
Well,
No. There is that.
sometimes.
All right, that's a good note to end on.
All right,
Olga,
I will move to adjourn.
second.
Second.
Any objections? Great. Have a great
Guys, thank you.
time. See
Thank
you
you,
on Sunday,
everybody.
some of you.
Thank
Good
you,
night,
Mark,
everybody.
even though you were mute tonight.
No problem. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.